please gear up for tonight's feature interview, and there'll be plenty of time, I assure you, for dancing and mixing and mingling. So please, a big hand for Angela Bloomfield. We've swapped microphones so that the people, the Wellingtonians that are isolating out the back, can actually hear us. And because of that, we're going to get intimate, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, we're going to get personal. Yeah.
I chugged a mint or two so that I don't have the bad breath. Angela.
I didn't chug a mint or two, sorry.
Your breath smells gorgeous anyway. Hey everybody, this is Angela. She's pretty special, and I for one want to hear what she has to say. So please give us your ears for 15 minutes. And then we can put our dancing shoes on. So Angela, just tell us, I was surprised what era you were at this school.
You're so flattering. I was 1986 to 1990.
What?
Yeah. I don't look that old. Oh, I saw my photo up there. It was hilarious. In the 80s.
Have you seen many familiar faces?
There's a couple. Yeah, it's good. It's lovely to see everyone. Not many from my year though, just me and my girlfriend. Just a bit disappointing.
So, let me get at this. What was Messi High School like when you were here?
When I was at Messi High School, well, it was the 80s, so the hair was awesome. I don't know, it was just, hello, we totally disappeared. It was just kind of school for me, and I quite liked school. Contrary to, like, I've got kids, and sometimes it's hard to get them to school, and I'm like, I don't get it. I liked going to school, I liked hanging out with my friends, and I really liked Messi.
You've been supportive of the school since you've left. You're obviously a very proud alumni and proud of this community.
Yeah, I think so. I've been back a couple of times and spoken at sort of senior prize givings, and I mean immediately after I left school I went back and like choreographed the musicals and stuff like that for a couple of years. So yeah, I have super great memories of my time there.
How did, this is awesome, you hang on to it, yeah. How did Messi High School prepare you for life?
Oh, I don't know. It's that resilience word, isn't it? And also for me, and I didn't know it at the time, it wasn't until later, and I looked at schools that my children are at, like it was a really multicultural environment. You know, we had a marae shipped onto the school premises. I grew up with every walk of life that is New Zealand, that's how I know it. So, yeah. I grew up believing boys and girls could do anything they wanted to do, irrespective of their sex and gender, and yeah.
I was just about to ask you that. So seriously, you felt like you could be anything in life you wanted to be?
Yeah, I mean that's how my parents brought me up. It's a little rod for your back though, isn't it, though, when you tell someone they can be anything they want to be. Because then they turn around and tell you what they want to be and you're like, oh, that's going to be tricky. Sure, I'll support you in that journey. Yeah.
And did you always know you wanted to be an actor?
No, I didn't want to be an actor. What was I going to be? I was going to be an architect, and then I found myself in 7th form, the only girl doing physics and in calculus in a group of 16 boys and struggling so hard. And then I looked around my art class and they were all applying for sort of art schools, and I went, oh hang on, you don't need physics and calculus for that. I'll just apply to one of those. So I started off at Carrington Unitech studying furniture design. So that's where I was when, I started Shortland Street.
Everybody sort of knew you and knows you as Rachel McKenna. How difficult is it to stop being Rachel and start being Angela, and how awkward is it when people don't know the difference?
Well, it's not so much awkward. I think people know I'm not Rachel McKenna, but I think the trouble is that when I started on Shorty Street, I was 19, so I'm still forming as a person, still trying to figure out who I am, and then suddenly I was playing a character that's particularly troubled, 5 days a week. I had no training as an actor. I had no methods of acting in my toolbox. I just did what I did at Messi High School and stepped in and just did it and related it to myself. So that was challenging. You know what I mean? Sort of like realizing years later, oh, there are strategies around playing a character that's got an eating disorder or playing a character that's an alcoholic where you don't have to put Ange in there and sort of like twist yourself sideways to commit to it. But it wasn't until later that I kind of realized that.
So how do you prepare for roles?
Depending on the level of what's required, like if it is an eating disorder or something that's a disease that you can look up, then you research it, or you can relate it back to you and how you might feel, or you work to go out there and find it. Because the whole theory with acting is that you're not pretending, so to speak, that you're being. Otherwise people won't believe it to be real. Yeah.
So if you are addressing issues such as bulimia, how do you park that at the work door and not sort of take it on yourself?
Well, it's hard. You learn strategies. So I suppose I was doing that when I was 20, living by myself predominantly, being Rachel 5 days a week, being Ange 2 days a week. And I would say that there were times in my 20s where I couldn't tell you where she finished and I began, because I didn't get it. And then later on, when I went back to the show and I had children and I knew who I was, it was like the second I walked in the door, I was a mother. And so the line became really clear and really easy to find. And I enjoyed the work more because I knew that I was not her.
Tell us about the audition process. How do you prepare to audition? The fear of rejection. You must either be incredibly talented or incredibly thick-skinned.
Yeah, I'm pretty world weary. The amount of times I've had no's. That's just part of this particular industry, and I'm sure there's lots of industries like it where you work really hard and you put everything into something. I mean, I'm a director, I'm a writer, I spend hours creating things, put them in for funding applications and get a no. But that doesn't mean you don't just put your big girl pants on and try again, because if you want something bad enough, you don't stop. But yeah, I mean, projections, I don't know, it's momentary. You just move on.
Can you tell us about some of the roles that you were amped to get but didn't?
Well, really, I haven't had that many roles outside of Rachel McKenna, I'll be honest. I have had the opportunity to work on films. I've met Peter Jackson, so that felt like an honour. To meet someone that was kind of treading a pathway. You know, The Frighteners was one of the first movies he did where he was working with American film companies and American producers, so we all knew it was pretty important. Waterford does back now, he does it all the time, but it was amazing to watch him work, and he works in a really similar way to me. He expects you to do the job you've been hired to do. He doesn't mollycoddle you, which is, I appreciate that as an actor. And so I thought that maybe he didn't like me because he wouldn't kind of talk to me that much. And I think it was like one of the, like Michael J. Fox's stand-in or something said, no, that's good. That means you're ticking the box. He'll only come over and talk to you if he wants something different. And I'm like, okay, thanks.
And Michael J. Fox, what was it like working with him?
I mean, I felt like the only reason I got that job was because I was the shortest actress and he was quite a short guy, so the actress who played his wife had to be shorter than him. So I was like, this is a gimme. If I don't get this part, there's something wrong. Because I'm quite short, don't know if you noticed. But
doesn't matter when you're seated.
no, it's true.
So, Frighteners, great experience. Shortland Street, what have been the real highs? What have been the exciting parts? Christmas specials, what floats your boat?
So I mean, for me it seems weird to sort of talk about it because it feels like such a personal thing, but she was struck by lightning once. That was pretty exciting. I thought that was a good afternoon on the show. Look, I was very fortunate to be asked to train as a director for South Pacific Pictures, so I got to get behind the camera and learn that side of it, which is something I still do now. I started doing it about 17 years ago, and I feel like that's probably been the biggest thing for me, being a part of that show and being given that opportunity. Yeah.
It's all good to go from like being an accomplished director to being named New Zealand's sexiest TV star. How was that?
I don't even know where that came from. I'm going to be honest. Like, you mentioned that in the email and I was just like, where is this? What is this? No one told me, which I'm totally fine with. I think sometime in the early 2000s, there was a little competition about boobs and who might have the best ones at that time. So that might have been where the sexiest thing came from, because a whole lot of women voted and they said me. So yeah, which was great. I felt awesome about that because I'd had a baby and I knew my boobs didn't look as good as I had 10 years earlier. So I was like, I'll take it. My son, on the other hand, is managing it at school right now, and his friends bring it up all the time. I feel for him.
How did you cope with those boobs when you were Dancing with the Stars?
Oh my God, no, that was terrible. Great segue though, because when I was on Dancing with the Stars, my daughter was 3 months old and I was still breastfeeding her. So it was a struggle. But we got through. It was okay. Sorry, it's a bit personal, it's just because we're close.
So holding and dancing?
Not holding a baby while dancing, no. The man was holding me while I was dancing. Yeah.
You had a recent change in occupation. Tell us about that.
I did. COVID. It's called COVID. It's called pivot. Yeah, I had a pretty good 2020 lined up, as I'm sure most of you had a good 2020. I had a really great 2020 lined up. And, but I had been thinking about doing something different. Yeah, I had been thinking about real estate and I had put it out there. And so the plan was to do the 2 big jobs that I had in the slate whilst doing my real estate papers. And then when I came back from the second job in sort of August of last year, then I would be legal. And then we went into lockdown, you know, many industries, both those shows disappeared, and I was in lockdown doing my real estate papers. But I really like it. I really like meeting people and walking into their homes, and I know it sounds really weird, but I'm a design student, so it's not so far-fetched. I love being a part of someone's journey in terms of buying homes and selling homes. Yeah.
So, is being world famous in New Zealand a help when it comes to your real estate?
I don't know. I think maybe in a year or so it will be, but right now everybody knows I'm new. So, you know, there's no hiding it. If you're going to choose between someone that's been doing real estate for 10 years or the chick off the tally who's been doing it for 10 months, who are you going to pick? But there will come a time when I've proved myself, and then maybe there will be that thing where they go, oh, I'm happy for her to sell my house. And she might tell me stories about Peter Jackson and her boobs. I don't know.
Yeah. Last question. Is there still things that you want to do or need to do in the acting and directing realm?
Yeah, I totally think so. Yeah, that's the thing I actually do like about real estate or having your own business is I can still, I'm at the moment teaching at South Seas Film School for a couple of weeks. I can do contract things and not all those, you know, years that I invested in the TV and film industry, they're not just gone. They can be part of my life. Yeah, I do want to direct a feature film. I do want to do that. That hasn't all disappeared. It's really important to me. Yeah.
Way cool. I need to show you my novel.
Okay, I'll turn it into a film.
Exactly, nowhere at all. I just got a royalty check last week. I was so stoked. Anyway, Angela, Bloomfield, thank you so very much for your time. It is great having you here.
Thank you. It's a privilege. It really is.
And we have a little something for you. We have wine on this side, and that is an alumni blazer. Does it hide anything? No, it's looking good. So ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Angela one last time. Awesome to have you here tonight. Thank you, Lance. This is a special night, ladies and gentlemen, and we'd like to make it even more memorable by honouring a high-achieving alumni. One of many ex-students who brought great credit to Messi High School. Now, this is totally out of the blue. The recipient is unaware they are being acknowledged, but we're super stoked that they are here tonight. And it's a credit to them that they still support the school, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but also by supporting occasions like this. So ladies and gentlemen, we want this alumni dinner to be an annual event, and we're keen to establish and continue a special Distinguished Alumni Award. Now the recipient tonight was head girl in 1984, so she now knows who it is. An excellent leader from all accounts. She went on to the University of Auckland to complete a BA and LLB double major. She was president of the Law Students Society in 1989 and completed further studies at Victoria University before being admitted to the bar, not that one, in 1990. A barrister from 1990, an associate at Meredith Connell and a trial prosecutor from 2004, she was appointed as a Crown Counsel in 2013 and earned her appointment as a District Court Judge in 2016. She was returned to Messi High School as an excellent careers guest speaker. She's an influential student mentor and SLT advisor. I'd like to call on Associate Principal Carol Bashford to present the Messi High School Distinguished Alumni Award to Her Honour Judge June Jealous. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a worthy recipient. And ladies and gentlemen, there is a time to dance and it is coming very soon. But before we do that, just want to say a big thanks to Associate Principal Mark Jones, who's been instrumental, highly instrumental in organising tonight. Can we have a big hand for the big guy? And Mark, come on up please. Because Carol has something for you in the box.